Lastly, we'll talk about things that you should keep an eye out for as you're playing the mod. A few of them I've already mentioned already. Make sure if people are playing Immortality and they get research, make sure that they do the research on the spot. It can be easy to forget. You're busy focusing on like your troop counts. What do you think in people of intrigues have got? What's my reveal strength going to be for buying cards there? And you just completely forget to do research. We've all done it. We've all been there. So just if you miss someone to it, just kind of say you might want to take your research just to keep everything nice and happy. I've also making a mention again about reveal effects. Remember, they all have to be applied manually in whatever reason, so just keep an eye out for that. One thing I would also suggest as well is in a card like Boundless Ambition, for example, if you do reveal this, this lets you acquire a card that costs 5 persuasion or less, but this is a separate effect to the rest of your persuasion. So I would just say if you're buying off of Boundless Ambition, just make a message or just say to someone that you're going to buy a card. So let's say, for example, I'm playing as Yuna here. And let's say I've got a persuasion and I reveal for, let's say 5, and I've got Boundless Ambition here. And let's say this is what I've got here. Well, the problem you've got is if I was to say, get hold of the Bounded Talaxia Researcher, am I buying it using my persuasion or am I buying it using Boundless Ambition? You don't know. And the thing is that someone could maybe like try to get hold of a card, then maybe like a really nice 5 cost comes like, oh, actually, I'm going to go ahead and use that or whatever. There are ways people might try and replay it. So just make a mention, just say, I'm using, like say, for example, this situation, maybe even just before you get hold of the Talaxu Researcher, just click on the card and then take the card just to indicate that you're using your 5 purchase to get that and you're leaving your 5 persuasion fully here now. That sort of thing. Another thing worth mentioning is there are a couple of leaders that actually have some special properties that are sort of scripted, and in some cases are scripted in the game as well. So Yuna actually is another good example of this. So when you play the game you start the game with no water, this is automatically taken off. But also, very importantly, whenever you gain Solar in your turn, you increase the amount gained by 1. Now, very coolly, and a great credit to the people that developed this mod, is that this is actually scripted into the game. So, for example, if I play as Princess Yuna and I go to Smuggling here and I get my bump, you'll notice that I get 2 Solari instead of 1. And this happens for anything that this is relevant for. It will always have added. So if I go to Wealth here, for example, I'll get hold of 3 coins instead of 2. Really useful. Again, it's just worth keeping just a half an eye on this in case something occasionally goes wrong. But yeah, this is all scripted in really nicely. If I go to Paul Atreides has a special ability as well in the game, which is his Prescience, which lets him look at the top card of the deck at any time. Now, what we used to do, and this is only recently added in, is say if I drew my 5 cards here and I want to see what the next card is, what you'd have to do is take the top card off the deck and then use Alt-Shift, which you can use to peek underneath cards we mentioned earlier. This is very, very useful. But now we don't have to worry about that so much. There is this Prescience ability, and what this will do is it will quickly generate this card being separated and as its own item here. So you can see just that card and only that card. Very useful. Also make a note to say they're looking into the future, because of course, if you're looking from the distance, you might think that, it's Paul looking his draw deck, which you're not allowed to do. No, it's in the information, so you can go ahead and do that as well. Very, very useful stuff. The next is an actual rule of the game as much as anything else, but players get this wrong all the time, and we've all done this. If you take any of these cards from the reserve piles, your Fold Space, your Liaisons, or your Spiceless Flows, and you acquire them at whatever point during the game, and then you trash them, so a common thing you might see actually is, say, people buying Spiceless Flow cards to get hold of the point, and then later on they'll trash them out of their pile because they're actually a very good reveal. These cards do not go out of the game. These cards are returned back to the reserve pile, the so-called Pidge rule for the Spiceless Flows specifically. This does happen. You see it all the time with Folds, for example, and it's the same for the Liaisons and the Spiceless Flows. If you take any of these cards out for whatever reason, put them back here, they are reacquirable. And the only last thing I would make a mention of as well is if you're playing in a game, you're just kind of going on randomly, and someone lags out for whatever reason, which can definitely happen. Player 2 just like lags out for whatever reason. What can occasionally happen with the mod is sometimes, let's say I'm going ahead and the turn's passing here, and it goes past green, for example. Green normally would be in, for example. It would skip past them, And then what will happen is sometimes for the rest of the round is that the turn sequencing will just forget that green's in the game. When you go to Maker's Recall and it resets the turn order, it will fix that. But just be in mind, in case if people do lag out the game, is that it can mess with the turn ordering. So you just have to be a little careful of that. You can pass the turn up here. Those that are host privileges can do that. You know, so just pass the turn around manually, or just get them to do their turn manually, and everyone just waits. So just keep an eye for that. It's very rare, but it does happen. And that is pretty much everything that you need to know in order to play Dune Imperium on TTS with pretty much full confidence. I haven't covered absolutely everything you can do. There's other stuff as well, like spreading decks and locking items, tinting bits and pieces. But those either aren't really relevant to this game, or are things that you can find out on your own, just little bits and pieces here and there that don't come up very often. We've gone through pretty much everything that's going to come up commonly. And yeah, with this, you can be pretty happy in knowing that you're not going to slow down the game or anything. I would still say, though, that you probably just need to spend a little bit of time with the mod. Not particularly long. Once you've played the game, gone through a game, maybe two, I'm sure you'll feel pretty happy with just the sequencing of things, how people tend to act as well. What I would suggest is, especially if you're getting used to this, is just do everything step by step. Don't rush through processes. Don't go at the max of the shipping track and buy a tech without you say you were going to add spice to your count and then buy a tech. People just take the tech because the spice already using. Don't just go everything step by step, make it logged, and that way there's no complaints, no issues like that, and everyone will be pretty happy with such. Well, that's going to do it largely for this. I hope this video has been useful to you guys as well. You've perhaps learnt and help you, kind of break up any barriers that there might be to getting involved with this wonderful game on TTS. We're going to be looking to do more content as well on the web too. CJ's going to be looking at some common rule misconceptions, which are little short videos. Obviously, this is basing a little bit off of the document that LSR has made, but there are rules that we've all gotten wrong, especially as beginners, and just little bits and pieces and weird interactions, and so we're looking at getting that onto the channel. There will also be other things coming on the channel as well, such as I did a leader tier listing of all the leaders in the game, which gave just some general kind of introductions to the leaders and what you're looking to do with them, how you want to play alongside with those. So that's already up, and we're sure we'll have other content as well from us and other people that are involved with the Dune community as well. But regardless, thank you much for watching. If there's anything else that I've missed and you've got questions for, again, you can ask in the comment section below, as well as the Discord servers that are linked. So take care of yourselves, have fun, enjoy the game, and hopefully we'll see you on the board soon.